Hello everyone and welcome to Drama TM, uploads where you'll find takes so hot they could melt the North Pole. Lately I've been quite busy with my studies, but there is another reason why I haven't been putting up any new videos. I've been having a block. No, a block. A block! Yeah, that's more like it. At first I thought it would just pass, I was just busy, there was a lot going on in my life, yada yada yada, yeah, your usual denial. Turns out I was wrong! Because the main reason I was struggling to create new content was that there was one video that I really wanted to make, but it scared the soul out of me. And this is that video. So hey, enjoy some rare footage of my soul leaving my body. But enough with the foreplay. Turns out, this delicious piece of cake is non-binary.
Yay!
This might not come as a surprise to some of you. It's not something that I've been particularly trying to hide. Can you not? But I thought it would be interesting to discuss it a little more in depth. Non-binary? As if. What's that supposed to mean? Well, hello gender police, I didn't see you there. But you see, I'm happy to explain. Non-binary is an umbrella term for a lot of gender identities that don't fall into the woman or man categories. Transtrender. So what's your name? Sock? Leaf? Sky? Well, that depends on what name you want me to give you. For internet purposes, my name's DramaTM, so I guess you could call me that. No, I mean your real name. In a sense, that's my real name. And it's the one I feel comfortable sharing with you, so can we please proceed with the video? Okay, I suppose I'll humor you. That's good enough for me. As I was saying, I am non-binary. It's the term I find most accurate to describe myself, and accepting it as a part of who I am has brought a ton of positive changes to my life. Like what? Attention on social media, feeling cool and trendy. Actually, no. Coming out to the internet is quite scary, and I haven't made any big announcements until right about now. The positive changes have a lot more to do with how I see myself than how others perceive me. I'm happier. My self-confidence is skyrocketing. I'm finally allowing myself to explore those areas of myself that were sealed away in a trunk in a dark part of my mind, just festering and rotting. And let me tell you, it's a delightful change. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to get personal. I've never had an easy relationship with my body or my identity. Actually, that's a lie. When I was a child, I was pretty much okay with it. I had the luck to be raised in a fairly open-minded family. Of course, I knew gender existed, and I knew I was supposed to be a girl, but it was not something that heavily influenced my upbringing. My friends and I used to play a lot of these games we called imaginary games, which, from an adult perspective, they're pretty much like role-playing IRL. We would pick a character, create a world, dress up, and go with it until we got bored. I never had a problem playing as any gender. Clothes were supposed to be either comfortable or sick costumes, and that's pretty much it. Until I started growing up, that is. Hold on, let me get popcorn. Are you about to tell us a sob story about what mean society did to you? Kind of, yeah. Suddenly, a lot more was expected both of me and my body. I wasn't thin enough. I wasn't delicate enough. I wasn't girly enough. My funny, colorful clothes were tacky, ugly, and not ladylike. And hey, I had boobs now, so it was okay to over-sexualize me. It was also okay to throw rocks at me, or insult me, or mock me. I don't want to blame any of the people in my life for that. Not even my bullies. We were just doing what we were trained to do at the moment. I'm not fishing for sympathy either. My only goal here is to tell my story so both me and everyone else can understand it a tiny bit better. I have the privilege to share my experience, and sadly that's something that not everyone has. So you're saying your teen years were bad and that's why you're mentally unstable and attention-seeking? Noted. First of all, if someone's willing to go through such a big change with all the hate and discrimination that it might entail just for attention, that person's not doing great. You think screaming at them is gonna make things better for them? For you? For anyone at all? But actually, for a long time, yes, I was mentally unstable and attention-seeking. Something didn't feel right. It didn't feel right at all. And being the overachiever I am, I overcompensated. I overcompensated hard. I leaned into what I was being told that womanhood was. I bought a ton of makeup and fishnets and revealing clothes and short skirts. And I developed an eating disorder that put me in the hospital a couple times. Joints. I started wearing high heels all the time. And when I mean all the time, I mean all the time, even to school or just to go grocery shopping. Having into account that I'm highly hypermobile, my joints just kept popping out of place. That was not healthy. I became the perfect, sexy, not like other girls stereotype. I was a pick-me girl. A complete pick-me girl. You know that audio from TikTok that goes like, well, people go like, when they remember embarrassing things in their past? Well, kind of like that's my internal monologue right now. That's how I feel inside of myself. Oh, and I also started dating and hooking up a lot. Why do you say that like it's a bad thing? Women are allowed to have as much sex as they want. I agree with that, wholeheartedly. But in that period of my life, I was not enjoying and exploring my sexuality. I was a child, looking for the slightest crumb of validation that I could find. I was 13. And it obviously didn't work, obviously, because in no way I was being myself. I was just being the constricting mask of myself that I had worked so hard to perfect. I wasn't comfortable inside of my own skin. There was always this tiny, tiny rough edge that needed polishing. This very, very not noticeable imperfection that needed correcting. I want to make something clear though. This was not the only thing going on in my life by far. And I don't mean to turn my entire adolescence into this big ball of trauma. I did enjoy the years I lived as a woman. But there's no denying anymore that my struggles with my gender identity and sexuality did factor into the equation of my unhappiness. Okay, but what you're describing is the struggle of a little girl under the toxic stereotype of womanhood. If you don't like the idea of womanhood that you were told, redefine it. There is absolutely no need to create 1,000 genders and play pretend with boy clothes. I also agree with you there. The toxic gender stereotypes definitely have to change for cis people too. If you're a man or a woman and you don't like the boxes that society has put you in, do change them. Everyone has a right to express themselves however they want. The wonderful thing about social constructs is that you can use them as building blocks to create your own thing. But you see, I don't feel like a girl. At all. I'm not one. And after a whole lot of self-analysis, I've discovered that it is not that I'm trying to run away from the parts I don't like about womanhood. And since I have no intention to stop being a feminist, it's not like I am abandoning the fight or searching for privilege or anything like that, okay? That's stupid. I simply and truly don't feel like one. Oh, so gender is a feeling now. Do you even have dysphoria, bro? Actually, to some degree, yes. Yes, I do. But even if I didn't, what's dysphoria if it's not a feeling? In no way I'm trying to deny any of the wonderful advances that have been made in binary trans people's science. But when you go to a gender clinic, they don't take a biopsy of your brain to see if you're trans. They don't cut you open with a scalpel and say, "Hey, it's a boy!" Do they? Cis people are not questioning their feelings about their gender either. Why are the feelings of some people valid, but the feelings of others aren't? But you experience dysphoria, so you're going to medically transition. So you're a boy. No, I am not a boy. I am non-binary. And unless you're about to have sex with them, asking a binary trans person if they still have a penis or if they're going to get one is rude. Policing non-binary transitions is not okay either. Policing is literally my job? Well, maybe you should get a better one. But you youngsters with your queerness and your non-binariness and your thousand sexualities are giving everyone in the LGBT community a bad name. First of all, non-binary people have existed for ages. It's not some youngster trend. But even if it was, isn't that a good thing? That people have the freedom to craft their own identity? That they are finding terms that they agree with, that they identify with, that they are comfortable with. I don't know. I think that's cool. Language evolves. Society in general evolves. And interpersonal relationships evolve too. Being gay or a leftist or a centrist or a feminist or an accountant were not identitary traits a couple hundred years ago. The society we live in is ours to shape and not the other way around. We can all coexist and be appreciating of each other. We've got a lot more to gain than to lose. Trying to keep this aura of respectability, it can be just as constricting as the old boxes that we were put in. And attacking each other to maintain a good image is just... it's the ultimate pick-me phenomenon, okay? My point is, why on earth are we fighting each other?
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
Because by saying you're non-binary, you're basically enforcing the traditional gender roles. You're saying, this is what a woman is, and this is what a man is, and I am neither because I'm really, really special and different. Does this special snowflake rhetoric sound familiar to anyone else? Besides, if anything, I'm doing the opposite. I will always defend the notion that everyone has the right to express their gender however they want. But don't you think that acknowledging the genders outside of the binary can actually be positive for binary genders too? I mean, at some point you just have too many categories to fill with traits. Or are we going to say that gender fluid people can only play baseball, boys can only play football, and demigirls can only ice skate? Oh, so you want to destroy the concept of men and women altogether? Way to invalidate the identities of thousands of people. No, I don't. Mostly, I just want to live my life and be treated with respect. But if I were to destroy something, I guess it would be the limiting visions of men and women as rigid societal roles. My existence and identity are not a threat to anyone else's. So you hate binary trans people? Of course I don't. Binary trans people have every right to be who they are. And they should be able to define their identity as men and women however they want. Just like these people should. But what are you so afraid of? I'm a pretty chill person actually. And all my joints keep popping out of place, so I'm not much of a threat either. Accepting myself, it makes me happy. There is so much joy to be found in our identities if we allow ourselves to live them fully. But what if you change your mind? What if you're secretly just faking? What if you're wrong about yourself? Well, yeah, I might change my mind, and I might change my label. Maybe in the future I'll find something that I feel more attuned to. We're constantly changing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if I did wake up one day and I realized that this was not as perfect a fit as I thought it was, it would still be amazing that I had the freedom to explore it. I don't want the fear of not being a good enough NB or a good enough trans or a good enough anything limit me anymore. But no, we're done. With this, I wrap my coming out video. I hope you enjoyed going on this roller coaster with me, and I hope we can treat our fellow human beings with respect. I know the vibe of this was slightly different from what I used to do, so please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. Please give me a big thumbs up and share this with someone you think might need to hear it. Love you all, bye!